friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Oh boy, what a week in wrestling this is going to be, Larson. We've got, of course, a ton of go-home episodes of Raw, Smackdown, Dynamite, Rampage, all building to Clash at the All Out.
So if my math, my recollection is correct, there's a wrestling show on every day between now and next Saturday. I'm not talking about the Saturday that's coming up. I'm talking about the Saturday after that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So what is that? 12 consecutive days of wrestling?
12 days, man. 12 days.
12 days.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot going on. Of course, we're going to be here all week talking about it as well. Kicking off with today, we've got AEW Rampage with CM Punk exclusive backstage. It's like one of those Coliseum exclusives. You get one of those Coliseum videos and you get some exclusive of what happens afterwards. Usually it's a whole lot of nothing.
Yep.
Smackdown, we're going to talk about that. And Sami Zayn. Oh, I need the entrance. I need him to be in the Bloodlines entrance. He got the picture. What a moment. What a moment. Yeah. We're going to be talking about Sasha Banks and Naomi's latest status with WWE. Sorry, it was coincidental. I was about to say the name Vince Russo and I started choking. It was actually coincidental, but apropos Vince Russo and his assertion that he might have been working for WWE during the worst stretch of Raw Creative. We're going to talk about FTR possibly. Is there hot heat going to be drama with AEW over a video game? But first, this is interesting. Roman Reigns is coming up on 2 years now as Universal Champion. Since Mania, he's been undisputed Universal Champion. He's been the champion.
Correct.
Larson and I both figured that, it'd be The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, and Rock would keep the titles all the way through that at least.
Roman would keep the titles.
I'm sorry, Roman. Yes, correct. Reigns. However, a new report from WrestleVotes, who's had a decent track record lately, suggests that Roman could possibly be losing at least one of his titles soon. The tweet read this: "For the first time in a long time, there has been some discussions creatively regarding Roman Reigns dropping the titles." And the S, the plural in title, is in parentheses.
Yes.
Yeah, parentheses. They continue. "I'm hearing multiple ideas have intrigued those making the final call. Triple H, Nick Khan, Stephanie McMahon. Come Saturday in Cardiff. Should be an interesting week ahead." End quote.
I mean, if you're going to do it before Mania, this is the place to do it.
Oh, boy.
This is the time to do it.
This is the time. This is the guy. Drew McIntyre. You and I, dude, we both have always wanted for Drew. Number one, he's legit. And when they play back that footage of him winning the title in Thunderdome, it's sad.
No, it wasn't even Thunderdome.
It was the Performance Center.
It was Performance Center.
Right.
Performance Center Mania. Yeah, nobody.
Oh.
Nobody. Not even people on screens. Nobody.
And I think he came into, did he ever perform as champion? Did he walk in? He didn't walk into Mania as champion, right? Wasn't it Bobby Lashley? Didn't Lashley take the title from him before?
I believe so.
I think the cash-in was in Thunderdome. I think.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if Drew has ever been able to be champion in front of people. I could be wrong about that. Feel free to correct me, anybody. If you want an explosion, especially during All Out weekend, if Triple H finds the story-motivated reason, if he finds some intriguing story to tell that would necessitate Drew McIntyre winning those titles, don't just do it to do it. Don't just do it to capture the buzz of the weekend. That's Vince McMahon type shit.
Yeah.
Do it because it makes sense for the story right now. Drew's the guy right now. I think you could totally do it. And I don't know, what's your take on this? What would be your philosophy? You're walking into WWE. Do you continue this sort of Bruno-esque, at least as much as you can have a Bruno-esque run in the modern day? Mm-hmm. Do you continue this, Or do you say, hey, you know what? It shouldn't be this precious. Back in the Attitude Era in Triple H's heyday, oh boy, that title used to change hands a lot. There was a lot of great talent.
Yeah. You know, when I first read this, first thing that popped in my head is Austin Theory and the Money in the Bank briefcase. Maybe he says, all right, triple threat now. And I don't know how they'd motivate it. They'd have to figure something out. But essentially, 2 falls, first fall for this title, second fall for this title. Mm-hmm. You know, then you have Drew win the first fall, so he takes the WWE Championship. And he can take that to Raw, I guess, or whatever. And then Roman can retain the Universal Championship, continue that reign on, and that way you could have your top title on Raw. I mean, I guess whether it's Drew or it's Theory winning the WWE title, take that over to Raw. And I guess it depends. You know, I know Roman's working a lighter schedule these days. You know, I know there's been a lot of debate as to whether Roman needs title or titles to face The Rock at WrestleMania. I'm kind of the opinion that it elevates the story. If he does at least have a title, if not both. You know, other people disagree, and you know they're welcome to their opinion.
What would you do? What would you do? Let's say it's you. Let's say it's Larson.
I would if it were me, I would somehow make it a triple threat. Have Theory get involved. First falls for the WWE title. Roman doesn't get pinned, but he loses the belt. Second fall for the Universal title, he retains that, so he keeps that title. Raw has their own top title.
Man, so in the UK, you're going to job Drew out like that?
I didn't say Drew was going to lose. I didn't say Drew was going to come away empty-handed.
Wait.
Or you have first fall. You have first fall for Universal title. Roman wins that one. He pins Theory or something.
Okay, yeah.
And then for the second fall, hell. If you want to get a huge pop, have it for the WWE title, have Drew pin Roman.
If you're going to have any of that stuff happen, Drew has to walk out with a title. I don't know, man. I think you do it one-on-one. I think you keep Theory out of this. I think Theory needs right now, he's still at the point where people would just shit on it and he wouldn't get much of a reaction. I think the cash-in, I don't know anybody wants to see a cash-in with Theory right now. I think that's a project that has to go forward. But I think you do that. I think you do this straight up one-on-one.
You know, I think people in Cardiff would be excited about it because it'd be the first time it's happening outside the United States, I believe. That's a momentous occasion. So I think people would be excited by the fact that it's actually happening, not necessarily who's doing it, but the fact that it could potentially be happening would be pretty exciting.
I'm going to try to put myself in the hearts and minds of the people there in Cardiff. I think that if it's not Drew, they don't want any part. I think they're thinking they all have all confidence points. They have big red confidence points on Drew McIntyre. In terms of where their hearts are, and if that fool comes out, if Theory comes out, they're like, oh, fuck that. No, I don't want to see that.
Well, if he comes out before the Drew-Roman match, one-on-one match is finished, well, now the odds are even more stacked against Drew. And if he wins, even louder reaction.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, whatever. You're probably right. Drew McIntyre, I think, yeah, if you want to blow the roof off the place, maybe you do it. You've come this far with Roman, though. You've come this far with Roman. Don't you see it through until there is, like, that guy?
You know, that's why I think just have him lose one belt. The particulars of how to do that, I'm not sure, unless they somehow make this match 2 falls or something like that, one for each title, which, you know, would really telegraph that Drew's walking out with one belt.
Yeah.
But you can carry on Roman as dominant force by having that Universal title still and have that for 5 more years, however long you want to do it.
I don't know. I was me. You know me. I'm kind of an all or nothing guy. You know.
You are.
You go in there and you get some help with the bloodline. Sammy helps him, and then Drew ends up losing. But I don't know. It's going to be. Look, I'll tell you this. It's going to be interesting. My interest is peaked with WWE's product right now. I think that's the case for a lot of people. And I don't know. Maybe Triple H is thinking, hey, you know what? We want to shake things up, but we want to do it in a way that emphasizes story and character. He said as much. Yep. And if you can have your cake and eat it too, you know, have Drew win, steal the weekend, and then move on and tell, you know, a compelling story from there, because a pissed off Roman Reigns having lost, you know, his undisputed Universal title, you know, what if Sammy's out there and he's helping, but Jay gets in his path somehow, and what if the Usos fuck up? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they get ousted from the bloodline.
What
if it's Roman and Sammy in the bloodline being best friends? Oh, that'd be great. That's just my fantasy booking right there. So interesting that there might be ideas on the table that are being heard about Roman losing those titles. Let's move over to the other side of things of AEW.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting. So over the weekend, Fightful Select reported that FTR was not going to be in AEW's upcoming video game debut, Fight Forever.
Fight Forever.
Noting that the tag team, quote, were originally set to be included in the game, but by spring of 2022 had been removed. So Cash and Dax were asked about being taken out of the game during a recent interview with Give Me Sports' Louis Dangor, and they stated that this is basically non-news. These transcripts come to you from Fightful. This is what Cash had to say about it. Quote, for us, the only real issue is we were kind of blindsided by it. We found out not how you would expect. When you find out something like that, something major like being taken out of a video game, your mind automatically assumes the worst. For us, it was like, is this something we need to worry about? Should we read between the lines here? We were not told. Were we not told for a reason? Now that we are aware and we are out, what is that reason? Is it something we should worry about? We got an answer. It made a lot of sense. A very logical answer. Okay, cool. As long as we don't have to worry about it, not an issue. That's what it was. We've known about it since May, June. I don't know how long, but for months. The fact that it came out yesterday, no idea why. Don't know exactly what happened yesterday. Don't know why it just now became a headline, but we've known about it for a while. We got answers on it a while ago, and for us, it's not even an issue or thought about. Dax says the headline could be FTR is not upset. FTR does not blame anyone for pulling us out of the game. You heard about this, I want to say March. It was before the Briscoes match. You heard about it a long time ago. I had someone message me. One of the journalists messaged me and said, is this true? I thought I did respond to him. The first thing I did is text Cash. Obviously, have you heard about this? No. Let's text Tony. Let's find out. We text Tony. We went through the right chain of commands. We text Tony, talked to him. Legal texted us, talked with them a bit. We got our answer. It was a non-issue. We wanted to make sure we weren't doing something wrong. And if there was something we could do to correct that, let us know. Months later, this article comes out. I couldn't believe it didn't come out in March. It blindsided both of us. I don't care to be in the video game. My worry is leaving a legacy, having fun with my best friend, on top of all that, taking care of Maria and Finley. So apparently they're not bothered by it.
Yeah.
So I would guess maybe. This is speculation on my part. DLC.
Could be DLC. The only other thing I could think about would be if there was something, I don't know what, if they have to sign anything, any type of contract when they win titles with other companies. But if they want given that they're now the New Japan or the IWGP tag champions, maybe there's some paperwork that goes with that gives New Japan, some sort of exclusivity or some sort of rights to using their likeness in video games. That is pure speculation on my part. Maybe it's just DLC. I don't know. But if they had to talk to legal, you would think that there would be some sort of logical reason that had to do with including them in the game that precluded them from being included.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or AAA for that matter, but I don't know. AAA seems
Yeah. I mean, I would get if it was a matter of, okay, you can't have our titles in the game.
Yeah, right.
But I would be surprised if it was another promotion saying, no, you can't have your likeness in the game because you have our title.
Yeah,
that would be a bit surprising.
It would be weird. I know.
If legal got involved, that it seemed like there'd be some contract thing or something.
Yeah, it would be something that would preclude them from being there. But I don't know. You know, it's funny because it does. I'm glad that they're speaking on it and they can say. I mean, it'd be weird. Because we talked about this before. There's so much weird internet chatter about like, oh, the Young Bucks don't want them to be AEW tag champions because they're popular. Stuff like that, and just some bullshit like that. Like the Young Bucks are averse to making money because that's all it would do. A Young Bucks versus FTR, their rubber match. That's all it would do. Just make a ton of money for everybody.
Yeah, a ton of money. It could main event a pay-per-view.
Exactly. It could have main event all out. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting. I want to see them. They're in a video. You can get WWE 2K probably 19. I think. Aren't they in that?
I think so.
I think they're in that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings. Hey, Steve.
What?
Get hyped.
Yeah.
A new football season is upon us. Football. And what better way to get ready for NFL Week 1 action than with DraftKings Sportsbook.
That's right, Larson. And to celebrate the return of football, DraftKings is giving new customers an offer that is cannot miss. Bet $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly.
And if you're looking for more action, then experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Get up 7 and you win. Bet on the NFL team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points, I'm talking a touchdown and an extra point at any point during the game, you get paid instantly.
DraftKings is safe, secure, reliable, and you can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code RAW to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $5 bet on any football game.
That's code RAW only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
So let's talk about this. This is interesting. I'm so glad you included this. I'm so glad you included this.
Man.
So every once in a while, a former WWE, WCW, and Impact writer Vince Russo says something that gets himself some attention. On the most recent episode of his podcast, The Brand, Vince Russo claimed that he had recently been working as a consultant for WWE Raw for USA Network for about 2 years. These transcripts come to you via Sportskeeda. I've been keeping a little secret for the last 2 years. I want to come clean, bro. I'm going to break the news to you on this show. I've not said this publicly before. For March, pre-Mania, bro, it was right before Mania 2020 up until this past Mania 2022. So basically, bro, for 2 years, I was consulting for the USA Network. For 2 years, bro, the USA Network paid me very, very, very well. Now, if you want to know how this came about, let's take a couple of steps back and I'll explain it to you. Here comes the explanation, Larson. Okay, very good explanation here, I would imagine. I got in contact with the vice president of the USA Network who was overseeing Raw. He knew who I was, called me back immediately, and we had a long discussion. So the first thing he did was he went directly to Vince McMahon. The reason why I'm coming clean is, bro, don't tell me what the fuck I'm talking about. When it comes to numbers, when it comes to networks, I don't care if it's 1999 or 2020. I know where they stand. I know what they're looking for. I know what's acceptable and what's unacceptable because I had communication with them for 2 straight years. So don't tell me what the fuck I'm talking about, bro, and I'm working directly with the network for that WWE's on. Wow. So he's basically admitting that possibly one of the worst creative stretches in the history of Monday Night Raw, a stretch of creative so terrible, so bad, that the Going In Raw podcast that exclusively reports on the Raw show.
Yeah, exclusively, nothing else.
Stopped
we
covering.
shouldn't be doing this show because we just do Raw.
Right. Stopped covering that show. So, like, he's actually admitting to that. The worst stretch of WWE.
Well, that's assuming what he's saying is based in fact, yes.
Why would anybody else? Why would anybody admit to that? This should be, if this is true, this is a weird thing. If this is number one, if this is false, if this is not true, that's why would you admit to that?
I don't know.
It's like saying, "Hey, remember that movie?" And I know a lot of people love this movie, but a lot of people think it's crap. Batman and Robin, like the fourth one, everybody says is crap. Oh yeah, that I wrote that. It's great, right? Who would want to say that?
I mean, when I read this, it's like I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know if we've ever been given any indication that USA has any sort of creative oversight over Raw.
Right. Well,
so
yeah.
So like I don't know. Like, assuming there's truth to this, would Russo's role then be? He watches Raw. He says to USA, "Hey, maybe you suggest this." USA suggests this, and then Vince says no. I mean, that feels like the fullest extent it could possibly be.
Well, dude, I remember years ago.
Hold on, Dang MQ says maybe he's consulting on other USA shows like Crisley.
That could be. Yeah. I remember years ago, John Landis's kid, Max Landis.
Yeah.
had talked about consulting for Raw. And I wonder if it's the same kind of thing. Maybe USA reaches out. I had heard through the grapevine something similar about USA actually consulting with not you or me, but with wrestling YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to say who, but I had heard that directly from people like that would know about that shit. It would not shock me at all, given their lengthy, decades-long relationship. If USA did do that, just to sort of say, hey, let's get an outside pulse on things. And now I don't know if that would mean that he would necessarily be on his typewriter typing up, oh, next week you should do this instead, bro. I don't think it would be that, but maybe it is a matter of, hey, we'll kick you some dollars to use your experience to, let us know what you think about how the direction of this is going. Yeah. I think that's a distinct possibility, but I don't know. It's Russo. You got to keep everything. It's all tongue in cheek.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this
that's what I was saying. If this had some truth to it, then it's not like he's sending script notes back to Vince. This is something it just seems like where, hey, Russo, what do you think about Raw on USA Network? And he'd probably send stuff, and then that's the extent of it. It's not like he's actively rewriting scripts, I wouldn't think. Because I know, as far as I know, USA has no creative oversight over Raw. Yeah. As far as I know.
I mean, we've heard that they've asked for things.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's completely divorced. But yeah, I don't know. I still think it's funny that you would want to associate in any way, shape, or form with the worst period of creative possibly, certainly in the modern day. I mean, you have to go back. Remember Adam Blampier was comparing it to the guest host era of Raw. And those are I watched some of those when he made that comparison, and I was like, oh, were those really that bad? And some of them were pretty bad. Yeah. Some of those were pretty bad. Yeah. But some of some of it honestly is because of COVID and being in the Performance Center. But then there were weeks even, after that when they were in Thunderdome and after that where it was like, God damn, it was unwatchable. It was unwatchable.
So Zondo here in chat says, in regards to the Landis thing, as he described it, they would ask, quote, what do you think of this? How could we make it that better? And he would just give notes, and that would kind of be the end of it until they asked again.
It wouldn't shock me if that was the same thing. They probably do that with a wide variety of
That's entirely possible.
I was about to say creative minds, but we're talking about Vince Russo here. Bro! Listen, bro! Let's talk about this, man. Let's move on from Vince Russo.
Yes, please.
So, of course, hey, you know what, man? Vince Russo, he had some contributions back in the day. He was Brawl for All.
Yeah, like 24 years ago.
It was Brawl for All, man.
25 years ago.
Bro, let's have them really fight. Anyways, that Brawl for All episode of Dark Side is so watchable.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So watchable. It's so good.
I watched, off topic before we go to the next story, ever since you introduced me to that show Untold on Netflix, I watched a bunch of them.
Did you watch the N1?
Yeah, I watched that. I watched The Malice at the Palace, which is phenomenal.
I watched that. It's phenomenal. It's great.
If anybody is interested in kind of the story of Malice at the Palace, go watch that. And then I watched the Manti Te'o one.
I watched the first episode of that, and then it was about to get to the second one where it all sort of explodes. Yeah, and it's that's crazy shit. You feel for that guy. You feel for everybody in that situation.
Yep.
Anyways, did you watch the Donahue one?
I didn't. I thought about watching it last night. Instead, I watched the first two parts of that new Woodstock 99 documentary on there. I'd seen one before.
I saw the first episode of the Woodstock doc.
Yeah,
and I think it only sort of scratches the surface. I'm anxious to get to the second one.
There was another one that came out a few years ago.
There was. Yeah, they always. That's a pattern. Like if Hulu has something that blows up, Netflix will do it too.
Yeah. But I thought I watched the other one on Netflix too. I could be wrong. But that was like a 2-hour feature-length documentary. And this was like a 3-part. I mean, it's going to end up being just about a half hour longer. But
we watched Chinatown over the weekend. We watched We watched it in chapter form.
Oh, okay.
We watched Chinatown the series. And now we're watching Citizen Kane the series because Lacey's never. Wow. I don't think she's ever actually seen it all the way through. Anyways, let's talk about wrestling again. So there have been rumors ever since Triple H took over WWE Creative that Sasha Banks and Naomi could be coming back to WWE. And in a recent Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez reported that Sasha and Naomi are back on the company's internal roster. Just a matter of time. I would imagine it would not have shocked me that before they announced the women's tag titles tournament, I think that was set up specifically because they knew they were coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And I would imagine they were probably actually re-signed or whatever, agreed to come back before they set up that tournament, because I think that Sky and Kai are going to win those things, and then you'll have the good guys, Sasha and Naomi, come out and challenge it. What if they come back at like Clash of the Castle? That'd be crazy.
That's entirely possible. That's kind of what I thought was going to happen. Is the final is tonight for the tournament.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's entirely possible that Sasha and Naomi could return tonight, though I think it will probably happen at Clash of the Castle. We'll have that 6-woman tag match at Clash. It would be interesting to see if they make that winner takes all.
They have, they still got to get the 6-man out of the way. Triple H is loading up weekly TV. And we're going to talk about Smackdown here in a second. It's no different. He is loading up weekly TV. I think he understands. He probably saw us talking about not reviewing Raw anymore.
And that was the motivation for all this.
Oh, of course. No, but he wants shit to happen on weekly TV. You should. You absolutely
should. Of course you should. Yeah.
And so it wouldn't shock me to see them back maybe on the Raw after Clash, because you have enough going on Clash of the Castle. You don't need them to come back there. Yeah, it would prop the crowd, but you can pop them, on Raw the next night. Are they sticking around in the UK? They're going to be back in the States by the time.
That I don't know. I was just about to ask that same question myself.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's talk about SmackDown. Sami Zayn seemingly now firmly a member of the Bloodline. If the last shot of the show and Roman Reigns' reaction to Sami Zayn is to be believed, Larson, don't throw cold water on my Sami Zayn joins the Bloodline narrative here. I'm trying to control my own narrative, man.
I'll finish your thought, and then I'll just douse it in cold water. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my thought is that he's in, and it's great.
Well, he's in so long as it's beneficial for Roman. As soon as him being a part of the group is no longer beneficial for Roman, he is out.
The same could be said for Roman's own cousins, the Usos.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You got to keep on proving yourself, Us.
Yeah, but I think Sammy's going to have to go like really the extra mile to continue to prove himself.
I think you're right about that. That's why Clash is going to be so interesting. And I'm dying. I heard that there was an amazing. So SmackDown's already been taped. I have not seen. I didn't read any of the spoilers. All I saw was a single frame from something going on with the Bloodline. And it looks amazing. I heard really good things about it in generalities. But no, I thought that final sequence, number one, we had Sami Zayn corpsing Jey Uso during a segment backstage.
He had to cover his mouth because he was laughing.
Sammy, it was the dance that did it. It was the dance.
It was.
But yeah, in the end, the main event, Sami Zayn took on Drew McIntyre, and Roman's directive was clear: fuck up Drew McIntyre. Get him soft for me, tenderize him. So Sami did what he could do. Obviously, he lost. But Roman Reigns comes out pretty quickly afterwards, and the Bloodline put a big beating on Drew. Sami participates by giving him a haluva kick on the outside of the ring while they were, and they busted up Drew bad.
Yeah.
Those chair shots were gnarly.
Yeah. The picture afterwards where his back is all marked up from the chair shots was brutal.
And so they, in the very end, the last shot we see, they had taken a chair, put it on top of Drew McIntyre for Roman Reigns to sit on it. And he's holding his titles right into the camera saying, I want somebody to take these from me. Come and take them from me. Come on. I want somebody to step up. While Drew is out completely cold. And the positioning of this was very interesting because you get Jey positioning himself behind Roman. And the camera angle was such, and I don't know if this is just really good blocking and TV direction, but Jey basically positioning himself so that in frame he's like inseparable from Roman. There's like no space between him and Roman. Jimmy, a little sliver of space between him and Roman, and right when Roman's finishing up his spiel, you see Sammy, because the camera's really low, you see Sammy get into frame with him, and it's very visually metaphorical for the entire bloodline. And they all raise their ones. Then, of course, later on, they show like the actual, picture that their photographers were taking. And it's just a great one. And, people had pointed out on Twitter that Roman had tagged Sammy in the bloodline picture. And so everybody's going crazy about Sami Zayn finally getting what he wants to join the bloodline. And the more you do this, the more devastating it's going to be when he finally gets jumped out, which is totally going to happen.
Yes.
But yeah, they're setting up a lot of really awesome moments here, man, and it's fun to see.
It is. It really is. And it's be interesting to see how Sammy plays into the story going in at Clash. I'm sure we'll get a little bit of an idea perhaps at the Go Home show on Friday. But until then, we can just speculate. I guess we can dive into it. I always like it when WWE program starts with wrestling.
Me too. Same.
And that's why Smackdown started. Ricochet versus Happy Corbin. It was a fun bout. Before the bout started, Corbin had a bit of a promo. Says Ricochet has all the tools, but he'll never be a superstar like Happy Corbin. Ricochet is always one step forward, two steps back. Well, one step forward Friday night for Ricochet because he got the win after he's got the best shooting star press in the business, man. Ricochet does. It's amazing.
Yeah, and they replayed it a couple times to demonstrate the height. Yeah, it's crazy.
So good. So he hits a shooting star press to get the win. And then afterwards, Pat McAfee continues his trash talk of Corbin. He gets on the telestrator and just starts put circles and numbers and all sorts of stuff on the screen, talking about Corbin's loose face.
Yeah, pooping his pants.
It was great.
It was funny because during the match, Pat had really dialed it back, but as soon as Ricochet won, oh my God, he went on overdrive. It was awesome.
Yes, it was great. Then we're backstage. Street Profits are there. Hit Row walks up to him, and B-Fab says, I heard Street Profits want to smoke. And Hit Row says, they've got that. And then Dawkins says, to the smoke we go.
To the smoke we go. After that, we had a wonderful Drew McIntyre video package. Was this part 2 from last week?
It was part 1.
Oh, and then they did it. Okay, yeah.
They did part 2 later tonight, yeah.
After that, they followed that Drew McIntyre video package up with some instant commentary from Karrion Kross. And he says, what a beautiful story about redemption. He says, who knows, Drew, maybe right now really is your time, or maybe not. However, take this moment in, because in reality, you can put I can put my arm. He says, I can put the arm through the back of your head, and all your accomplishments will mean nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty graphic there.
Yeah.
Put my arm through the back of your head.
It's like a trauma flick.
Yeah. Then we got this last chance fatal 4-way match for the women's tag tournament. Shotzi and Zaya taking on Natalya and Sonya, taking on Tamina and Dana versus Nikki and Doudrop. This match was relatively short, but the winner had to have another match later in the evening, so it kind of made sense. The finish saw Nikki and Dana both on the top rope. Nikki is looking for a superplex into the ring. Instead, Dana reverses it to a superplex outside of the ring onto everybody, but as they're kind of like jockeying for position for the superplex, Sonya sneaks on the apron and tags herself in, tags Dana out.
Yeah.
So Nikki is the one who takes the spill on the floor, and I haven't heard anything as far as her being hurt, although the spill was nasty.
The spill, it looked like she might have busted her ankle, but later on you see her backstage with Doudrop in a background segment. So I'm hoping she's okay, because I haven't heard anything either.
Yeah. So then Sonya puts Nikki back in the ring, covers her to get the win. Sonya and Natalya advance.
Yep. After that, we had a Shayna Baszler video package. It definitely looks like they're really building her into NXT Shayna Baszler, and you love to see it. After that, this was really fun, man. We had a Brawling Brutes promo, so Sheamus comes out, says, next weekend, we're going to be starting fights, drinking points, celebrating me becoming IC champion. He says, then I'll be a Grand Slam champion when I beat Gunther. So Gunther and Ludwig come to the ring. Ludwig starts talking, and Sheamus says, nobody has a clue what you're saying. Shut up. He says, my real issue is with Gunther. He says, you call yourself the ring general, but I'm the real ring general. I've faced the best in this ring and beat all of them, and nobody in this business has had banger after banger after banger. Crowd is a bit dead for this one. It kind of bummed me out because I thought that Sheamus was really good here. He says, truth is, I see a lot of myself in you. He says, it's been years since we've seen anybody with the same brutal physical qualities. He's just like me. Gunther loves to go to war in the ring, but Gunther has something I want, the IC title. He says, I make a promise. At Clash, I'm going to drag that title off your belly. And then Gunther takes the mic, says, you are a man to be respected, but you are nothing like me. I am the Intercontinental Champion. And to protect this title, I'm going to teach you what violence really means. In Cardiff, not only am I going to retain the title, I'm going to chop your chest into bits. I'm going to break the man they said couldn't be broken. So then they're facing off just like statues. Stone.
Face to face, yeah.
Stone. Yeah. Butch goes after Ludwig. They brawl. Ridge gets involved. And Gunther and Sheamus don't move a single muscle. It's chaos surrounding them, but they're not moving. Yep. Because the first person to move has the mental disadvantage, I guess, or whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. That's what it'd be.
Yeah, Ludwig tosses Ridge into the timekeeper area, gets back to fighting with Butch. So, yeah, yep. I thought this was a really effective segment. And again, man, it's like in the details. Like this easily could have just been everybody fighting everybody.
Exactly.
That's boring, old school Vince stuff, right? Now is the age of Triple H. Let's get a little deeper. Let's get a little better. Let's see how we can fine tune this stuff and make it better.
Yeah, make things more interesting.
Yep.
Not just the same old, same old. Next, we had a Natalya and Sonya interview. So while they're being interviewed, you see Nikki and Doudrop in the background. They're arguing.
Mm-hmm.
So assuming this was shot after the fatal the 4-way last chance match, hopefully Nikki's fine.
Yeah.
So Sonya's putting over Natalya. Natalya's putting over Sonya. Natalya says they're really starting to find their groove, which is why Raquel and Aaliyah should be concerned tonight. And Sonya says, which is why they're moving on to the finals of the tournament.
Yep.
And then after this Sammy Roman segment, we have that match. But first, I know Steve.
Oh, man. So Sammy knocks on Roman's locker room door. Jimmy and Jay answer. Of course, Jay looking as hard as ever. Sammy says, if I hadn't gotten hurt, I would have won last week. And Jay says, yeah, you still lost, though. What are you doing knocking on this door? And he tells him to get lost. And Roman's like, you can hear Roman. It's funny because like it sounded like it was a soundboard at first. It sounded like it was like a pre-recorded thing. Roman's like, yeah, come on in here. And Sammy comes in. Roman's there. Sammy takes a seat. He says, so how's everything going? And Roman says, oh, it's great. How about you? Sammy's like, yeah, man, my jaw is still sore from last week. And he's like, yeah, you lost. Sammy's like, well, technically I lost. Yeah. And Roman gets a smile, says, sometimes bad things happen so we can redeem ourselves. He says, I was alone last week and I needed somebody to help me out. I appreciate you doing that. It's something family would do. And it's like my heart's just, just so warm. And Sammy says, yeah, it's something family should do. I'll do anything for you, Roman. Roman says, need another favor. I need Drew occupied. I need him distracted. Sammy says, well, I have a match with Drew tonight. I'm going to get inside his head. I've got this. It's going to be a piece of cake.
That's when he starts doing the dance.
He's like, I'm going to move in there. I'm going to put a picnic blanket down. I'm going to do a dance. And Roman smiles and says, you going to do that dance? And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this dance. And the camera pans up, and Roman shoots a glance at Jay, and Jay has to put his mouth over it
because he's laughing.
Oh, it was so fucking great. It was so great. And so Roman says, tonight's about you. And Sammy says, I appreciate it. He says, this is how you get in the main event. And Roman says, tonight you got the opportunity to be in the main event tonight. And Sammy gets up and he does the handshake with Jimmy.
He does like a handshake with Jimmy, and then Jay just points him to
the door. It's a very elaborate Oos handshake too.
Yeah.
And then he's about to, and Jay just points at the door.
Yeah. It was great. It was great stuff. Then we get the SmackDown semifinal match for the women's tag team tournament. Raquel and Aaliyah taking on Natalya and Sonya. Bayley comes down to ringside along with Dakota Kai, Io Sky. Bayley joins the commentary team, much to the delight of Michael Cole.
And Pat was making everything worse. Yeah, I felt fantastic for Michael Cole here.
It was fantastic. So early on, Natalya hits Aaliyah with a Michinoku driver on the floor. Mm-hmm. And so Aaliyah's out of the match for the rest of the match. It's basically a 2-on-1 bout from that point on. Yeah. Raquel still gets the win. She ends up hitting her powerbomb finish on Sonya. And then Io and Dakota get in the ring, have a stare down with Raquel and Aaliyah.
Yep. After that, we have a Maximum Models photo shoot. And then Hit Row's music plays. At first, I was like, "Oh, do they just have like ambient Hit Row music whenever they're around?" But now it's coming from their cool party bus. Max says, so somebody needs to fix this. Maxine says she has an idea. They go to commercial. We come back, and she's back with Garza and Carrillo. They have a solution. They have some spray paint, but that spray paint oddly just came off like a dry erase marker.
Yeah, it looked like that was what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then we had a New Day promo, and Xavier Woods is in a wheelchair. And when I see that, I think, oh, we're going to get a Kevin Nash situation.
Not only was he in a wheelchair, he had a blanket over his legs. And what shirt was he wearing?
He was wearing the New Day shirt that looks like the Wolfpack shirt, yes.
Oh, man.
I was so waiting for him to do that with a fake leg.
We were doing our watch along. The only thing is there was no fake leg. The great thing is, though, during this promo, they were trying so hard not to laugh.
I know.
Woods and Kofi. This was good stuff.
It was good. So Woods says, normally we'd be out here clapping and being happy, so this is difficult for them. They said they've been making fun of the Viking Raiders, but they've really underestimated them. And then Kofi says, we've been getting our asses kicked, so we have to face a harsh reality. Last week, they said they saw the Viking funeral and saw them burning boxes of Bootios, New Day shirts, unicorn horns, and also saw the Viking Raiders burning their legacy. They said the New Day was done, and maybe it's just that. Kofi continues, says they've had a chance to do a lot of great things. He's interrupted by the Viking Raiders. Eric says they were given the New Day a proper send-off. And Ivar says rather than leave with honor, they're out there sniveling. And Wood is like, can you just give us a minute? Just to say, to wrap this up. And Eric says, we despise weakness, and it makes us sick to see you in the ring groveling like a wounded animal. And Ivar says sometimes the best thing to do with a wounded animal is to put it down. So the Viking Raiders hit the ring. They circle Kofi. Woods gets out of the wheelchair. He's got a boot on, a walking boot. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a fake leg, but he takes the blanket off. He's got a couple kendo sticks. He throws one to Kofi, and they start beating up the Raiders with kendo sticks. And then Woods then tosses the wheelchair out of the ring at Ivar.
That's an impressive feat, by the way.
It is, because wheelchairs are not light. They are heavy.
Yeah. So after that, Maximum Models and Garza and Carrillo spray paint, and I use my little quotation marks here. Hit Row sucks on the bus, but it just clearly was easily it was like they were trying their damnedest to get these markers to work. Because how dry erase markers, on certain services, they just work for shit.
Yeah.
So Hit Row walk up, say, if you guys want to fight, we can see you guys in the ring next week. Which would be cool. It'd be interesting to see Maximum Male Models how they wrestle, how in character they're going to remain.
Yeah.
This could be wildly entertaining stuff.
Oh, it really could.
And he says, by the way, that's not even our bus. And then they leave, and the Street Profits get out. So they're just sort of confused. They're like, well, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not for us.
This is our bus.
Yeah, it's our bus.
It's our bus. So we're backstage. Sammy's warming up. Usos step up to him. Jay tells Sammy, you need to level up. And Sammy's like, what's with this negativity? This is what I was talking to Roman about last week. And Jay goes, you were talking about behind my back last week to Roman. Go handle your business, Sammy.
Yeah, Jay doesn't watch Smackdown, apparently. After that, we had the second part of that Drew McIntyre video package.
It was really well done.
It was really well done. Unfortunately, from what I remember, no Gameskeeper.
Yeah, I don't remember any Gameskeeper either.
Really should have been a Gameskeeper. Then we had our main event, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. And this is as you would expect. Drew McIntyre just completely overwhelming Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn trying to elude, trying to get out of there. Sami trying to go after Drew's knee. But in the end, what is it? It's just like a Claymore, right? Yeah.
Yep, just a Claymore to get the win.
Yeah.
Even though the Usos try to interfere. And then after Drew gets the win, Roman runs out. So starts pummeling Drew from behind, stomps on him, talks some crap. Tries to send him to the ring post. Drew reverses that, so Roman's the one that gets posted. So the Usos get back in the ring. Drew fends them off, but that allows Roman to kind of come to, hits Drew with a spear. Usos bring the chairs in the ring, and they're just taking him to Drew. And then they throw Drew out to the floor, clear off the announce table, throw him to the barricade. That's where Sami hits the haluva kick. And then the Usos blast Drew into the rings, or with the ring steps. So Roman tells the Usos to put Drew back in the ring. Roman puts on a guillotine, and then puts a chair over Drew's back, over Drew's neck, sits on it. And that's when the Usos hand him the titles, and everybody holds up the one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it was such a solid way to end SmackDown. It was really good stuff.
It was good.
We also had AEW Rampage on the road to All Out.
All Out.
Looking this down. We had a really good main event. Claudio versus...
it was a fun main event, yeah.
Yeah, Dustin Rhodes for the Ring of Honor title. That was really fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. We got a little bit of advancement in this House of Black Miro story, I guess, in the opening bout. I kind of thought House of Black had a chance to advance the tournament, but they set up... Let's just get into it. So the opening bout...
we can talk about it before we get into it. Yeah, I sort of figured, okay, well, it's the Dark Order, and this is the only way for Paige to get involved at All Out is for them to advance to the finals.
Yeah, and they kind of teased that with 10 selling that he hurt his knee.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that makes all the sense in the world.
It does. But at the same time, like Malachi getting rolled up, I don't know.
Riding through this world all alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whenever that motorcycle goes riding by.
But then, seeing Miro get involved, that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure he and Malachi will have a match probably at All Out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so.
Otherwise, Jade challenged Athena to a match at All Out for the TBS title, so that's official.
That's happening. Yeah, they got a really cool moving graphic thing on Twitter. Like the old WWE thing. That was cool.
That was cool.
That was cool. And the main event was
let's talk about this. The exclusive. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm not like quite 100%. So you got exclusive.
We're trying. Look, no, you just don't make excuses. We're just trying to mine info from this fucking Rampage when they don't really have a lot. It's okay. Look, I would not be shocked to see Rampage pick up in the important shit happens department down the line. That's what sort of people are suggesting on the Twitter that Tony Khan's
going to try. It hasn't happened yet, though.
It hasn't happened yet. So here's our Coliseum home video exclusive CM Punk bonus footage.
Such Larson, as it was.
Run this thing down.
I was expecting a lot more. So let's just say with the trader's room, and the trader says, "How's your foot feel?" And Punk says, "It doesn't really feel like anything. Yeah, it just gave out." And he says, "But that's what happened when I broke it." And that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, just gave out, man.
That's it.
Yeah. I think I expected more.
Me too. Like I was expecting more like devastation.
I expected
and I didn't get that. It was like, I didn't feel anything. Didn't feel anything the first time either. It wasn't like enough to actually get anything out of it other than he hurt his foot again.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those like, Thunder things where it's like, oh, we're going to have comments from so-and-so. And it's like, you're not going to give a shit, are you? You're not going to give a shit. But they know it's a big angle. So they're going to, we got 15 seconds of CM Punk backstage. We had a camera back there. Put it on Rampage. Everybody wants to see. We get it's bonus footage. So they're promoting their shit.
I know, all of 20 seconds. But like, is Punk going to come out in a walking boot on Dynamite and say, well, Mox, you won, but you won because my foot gave out. Let's have another match at All Out. I'm like, dude, you're in a walking boot. You got no chance. I don't really feel like it builds intrigue unless there's like an obvious tease of heel turn on Dynamite.
Like, I don't know, him like shoving the trainers away in defiance, in frustration, yelling maybe, I'm fine. I'll deal with it.
That would have done something, yeah.
But instead, it was just him in the most mild way possible. I didn't feel anything. But same thing as my broken foot. Okay, so you're too fucked up for All Out. How is this match going to happen? Like, exactly. What if he was like, cut my foot off and put a robot foot on? And then the doctor comes out with like a robot foot.
There you go.
Okay, this one has special.
It's like, hey, Doc.
This one has special laser beams on it.
You remember the last scene of Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
Where they give Luke the hand.
Yeah.
Can you do that for my foot?
The doc brings out like the amputation droid. Yeah. You see CM Punk floating in that thing that Luke was in.
Yeah, the water, the fluid. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, any of those scenarios would have been better than what they gave us.
Yeah, exactly. Let's jump into it. The show opened with Dark Order versus House of Black. As mentioned early on, 10 is selling knee. Like he hurt his knee, and they were working his knee, and I think Buddy even kicked him in the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually he gets back in. He goes on a bit of a run, but then Malachi puts him in a knee bar, and that's when Miro's war horn plays. So then Buddy and Brody run up the ramp, and Miro takes them out. And then with that distraction, Reynolds rolls up Malachi to get the win.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, Brody lays out Miro from behind, throws him in the ring steps, put him in the ring. House of Black surround him. Malachi hits Miro with the black mass. And then they all stomp on him, and then Darby and Sting run out to make the save. So maybe we'll get a 6-man tag. It'll be Miro and Darby and Sting against House of Black. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be cool. After that, we had a Hook interview. I didn't see this. What was I did not see.
Oh, so he's asked about if he saw what 2.0, what Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange had to say. And he goes, yeah, I saw it. I've been thinking about it, and I don't really care. So he just leaves. And so this part was actually kind of funny. So 2.0 steps in. They're like, where's Hook? And Lexi says, he just walked away. He's over there. And then Menard says, typical Hook. They want a taste of that title. And then Parker says, Hook is nothing. He's a scared young man because AEW Galaxy just put too much pressure on him. What if we took that title from you and you have to be a scared young man anymore?
Okay. And banners. After that, Ryan Nemeth got his ass beat by Wardlow up on the stage. Jay Lethal's crew was up there watching. And first up, Nemeth had a promo. He says, the best part about growing up in Cleveland is leaving Cleveland. It's the first chance I got, packed my bags, moved to a real city. And then I became the Hollywood hunk. And then Wardlow just fucked him up.
Oh, he destroyed him.
Yeah.
Destroyed him.
A bunch of power bombs here. Wardlow gets
4 of them, I think, yeah. Then we got Private Party and LFI interview. So Andrade says, Private Party, you lost last week. And the Cassidy goes, we all lost.
Yeah, you guys lost too.
Yeah. And Andrade goes, no. Dragon Lee lost.
And then Andrade,
after we lost, you saw what happened to him. And then Roosh says, I turned on my own brother. And then Jose, the assistant's about to talk. And then Isaiah Cassidy goes over and grabs him by the lapel.
Nobody's talking to you.
And then Andrade tells Private Party, everything in this world has consequences.
Oh, that's true. After that, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ashton Day. Powerhouse Hobbs, he kept on yelling at Ashton about Ricky Starks. It was great. Hobbs is awesome. I know Stark's probably going to win this. But I feel like milk this.
I know.
Have Hobbs come out and squash the shit out of Ricky Starks to start this thing off, and then go to another pay-per-view. These guys can have a blood feud, man. I know.
Especially after.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
I say, especially after Starks has gotten softened up by the factory here.
The only way Stark should ever be able to get a win over Powerhouse Hobbs is in like a street fight where you can do anything, like you can, take a chair to a guy's head or whatever. That's the only way. Like, they need to build Hobbs. Here's what they need to do. They need to get right with Hobbs what they didn't get right with Wardlow. Because Wardlow's stuck on Rampage with the TNT title, and I just don't feel like he's going to go very far from here. And I hope I'm wrong about that. Oh my God, the sun just ran away from your window. Dark winter is coming.
Oh no.
But you can have, because here's the thing, Hobbs has like actual charisma, and I like Wardlow. I thought he did, and I'm just not seeing it anymore. It disappeared like the sun from your view.
I know. What the heck is going on out here?
And Hobbs, this performance against Ashton Day was great. You have Hobbs kill Starks at All Out. And then in a special themed episode of Dynamite, you can have Starks survive a win in a street fight against Hobbs' mate.
So it shouldn't just be a street fight, as EW here. It should be a Philly street fight.
Where would that be?
In Philly.
That's right. Hopefully Brian Cage is paying attention.
Exactly. Then after that, we got a Jade Cargill baddies interview. So Jade is about to talk, and then Layla Gray steps in and says, well, actually, and Jade says, what have you done for me?
Fuck?
Matter of fact, I'm done with you.
Yeah, you don't get to talk.
And so she tells her to get out of there. She tells Lexi to get out of there. She then challenges Athena to a match All Out, and then Athena runs in, punches her. Security is right there just to separate them.
Whoop. I like you were about to say secretary. The secretary separates.
Say, man, I had some Dayquil earlier.
Nice. Yeah, man. No, you should be doing this on NyQuil.
Then if that was the case, then this would be the show.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I'd be sleeping right now.
After that, we had Sammy and Ty versus Ortiz and Ruby. Of course, Anna Jay gets involved here. And then Sammy gets the win here over Ortiz with a springboard cutter. So, yeah.
Yep.
After that, we had that exclusive CM Punk footage.
It lasted about as long as Steve said to say what it was.
Let's recreate it. Didn't feel like anything. It just gave out like the first time.
Done.
And see.
He's got to be a little sweatier.
Yeah.
A little sweatier.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there's any urgency in anything he was saying or doing.
So mellow.
It just seemed all very matter of fact.
It was all. I think what they were trying to go for was like realism, but in fact they just went for like post NyQuil.
It felt like a rehearsal.
Yeah, they were just running through the lines.
And then Punk was like, "Well, we'll shoot the rehearsal," and that's what we got.
Exactly.
Then we had our customary pre-main event interview. So Dustin says there's a lot of history between him and Claudio. He says, "This is my opportunity and my shot, and I promise I'm giving you the best Dustin you've ever seen, Claudio, and I guarantee that I can beat you."
What is the best Dustin? In your estimation, what is top Dustin?
The best Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah.
It's probably his match with Cody at the first Double or Nothing.
That was a terrific Dustin. That was probably top Dustin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Gold Dust too.
I like Gold Dust too.
Yeah, Gold Dust is doing good stuff.
And then Claudio says, "Well, that's what I want. I want to face a legend like Dustin. That's what the Blackpool Combat Club and this Ring of Honor title is all about. Facing the best competition." He says, "Tonight, I'm going to shatter your dreams and retain the ROH title."
I like the stuttering Dustin. That was the funniest Dustin. Him and because he got electrocuted. Him and Booker T. My God, what a team! Those dudes were.
Yeah,
hilarious.
that was a great team. That was a great team.
Yeah.
And we had our main event: Dustin versus Claudio. Solid bout. Outcome wasn't really in question. We knew Claudio was going to retain that title and win this match. But yeah, there's some fun stuff. It's amazing what Dustin could do still in his 50s.
Oh no, absolutely! It's
Code Reds and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's pretty
nuts.
great.
Yeah,
doing that round off the top. Good stuff. But yeah, Claudio got the win with the pop-up uppercut. The finish seemed like it kind of got a little messy, but they recovered fine.
Yeah, it is what it is. We got a Raw tonight, so we got a Raw preview. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah to battle Dakota Kai and Io Sky to crown the new WWE. Holy crap, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 previews. Oh my gosh.
I know. The show is actually written in advance.
To crown the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle returns to Raw.
They're in
That's
Pittsburgh.
cool. Yeah. The Usos and Sami Zayn are going to show up on
Steve.
Monday Night Raw. Ooh, so they did have to do the Kevin Nash thing. They had to do the thing where they do SmackDown and then next week SmackDown, but also knowing that we've got over here, we've got Raw. Yeah.
Yep. Riddle to stand face to face with Seth freaking Rollins ahead of Clash at the Castle, and then Bobby Lashley looks to give The Miz an almighty beating.
I feel like this Riddle Seth Rollins needs something more than just a brawl.
I know.
I feel like this is the one thing that maybe they should have just done this at SummerSlam, because I know that was like the original plan, and they were like, "No, we're going to put it off till Clash," and they haven't really done much with this, and I wonder if they just want to get it done with because they have plans otherwise. I don't know.
I mean, if they just want to get it, I mean, I thought they might have pushed it because we have ideas of how to amp it up more.
Yeah, but I don't know.
If they just want to get it done, then they could have just got it done at SummerSlam. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
All right. Anyways, we're going to answer questions on our Friendo Club Wrestling channel on the YouTube. That's going to do it for us, though, today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.